afternoon, gardening friends. It's now Sunday, the following Sunday, not just the next day from the last episode. And I wanted to show you kind of some of the things that have been going on around here. It's a little bit messy, so I wanted to show you those things first so I can actually clean them up and move forward. The biggest area of concern is the experiments that I was doing. The big popsicle thing here, that is pretty much everything in there has died. I've got a lot of stuff that's just kind of wilted over and died in the last week. I don't know if it was because I got real busy and sometimes I forgot to water, which is a pretty good reason for it happening, or if it's for some other reason, but I've made decisions on what to do with each of these. So this has pretty much died off. This was one of the light versus dark experiments, and you can see it just died. I've got the Swiss chard that I was trying to grow, light versus dark, and you can kind of see that one's pretty spindly, so I'm not too sure about it. This one is all just kind of leaning over. They're both not doing so well, so what I chose to do is go ahead and plant a couple of seeds directly into the pots. One of them being the black pot here, and then there's another yellow pot that has, not this yellow pot, but the other yellow pot that has Swiss chard in it. Or actually, no, that wasn't Swiss chard, that was the nasturtium, which all kind of died. So the nasturtium's taken care of. I'm waiting for it to germinate. Beyond that, I've also got this yellow pot here, which had a bean plant in it, which just wilted. The others seem to be doing okay, but that one just wilted and died. So I got a bit of cleaning up to do on that. Then we have this black pot over here, where this particular bean plant, like all the leaves just kind of went brown. I don't know what's wrong with them. I'm starting to wonder about this whole process I've had of trying to transplant things indoors. So I'm starting to direct sow a lot of stuff rather than doing so much for experiments or trying to pre-germinate something and then transplant it. It may be that it was too tender a plant when I transplanted it. The other bean plant that remains seems to be doing okay. This one was better than that one before. Now it's worse. So I may be down to one bean plant here, and I'll figure out if I want to plant some more seeds. So let me go ahead and do some cleaning, and I'll show you what else I've got. Okay, well that's a little bit better, but I forgot I left the camera on while I was cleaning and the battery went dead. So I'm back to the old camera, and I can tell already the colors are going to be really different. But let's get back to it. So what I've got here after cleaning up, I've thrown out all of the stuff that had pretty much died except for the light versus dark experiment on the Swiss chard. We'll give that a little bit more. I'll try to be more attentive this week on paying attention to keeping things watered. The cup that's sitting here, there's a reason for that. I'll explain in a minute. But just to sort of review, I've got 2 bean plants. I've got a couple of nasturtiums that are planted seeds in the pots up here on the counter. And I've also, what's new here is I've got a couple of tomato plants in these red pots here and here. Over here is a red robin tomato, and here is a microtom. At least I think that's the order. I did label them on the bottom of the pot, so I'll remember which one is which. These are 2, I did some research, and these are 2 small tomato plants, or they produce a small plant that can grow in a small pot. These were 2 of the smallest I could find. I had to order online in order to get the seeds because they're just not available at the local stores. It's just a little too unusual. And the place where I ordered, they actually were offering for early birds a couple of new seeds for free. So I went ahead and got those. I'm just kind of curious. One's called a hybrid pepper blue star. I'm not really a fan of bell peppers myself, but I'll try and grow the plants, and if it succeeds, then I'll hand them off to somebody who does like them. The other is a debut tomato, which I think is another hybrid, I'm not sure. I don't know too much about Debut, and it's probably going to be way too big to grow indoors. But again, I'll try and grow it, and if it works, then I'll hand it off to somebody who can enjoy it and has the space for it. That's all the seeds that I've planted. Now, as to the cup, when I looked at the germination rates on these, which it did mention the germination rates on the packets, which was about 80%, so I'm thinking, okay, what if I put one seed in the pot and it doesn't germinate? Then I'm going to be behind on everything else. So I've actually got backups for each of the tomatoes that I've got here and there. I got backups for those two, and then for the bell pepper and the other tomato, I've got 2 of those growing. And so what I've done is put back together the grow light system that I had built up before. So we'll see what happens with that. Now let's take a look at the tree. This may well be the best lighting I've given this tree. So now you get a much better idea what it looks like, although you see the light up top. I forgot to check the water more often this week, and it did, the well ran dry, but the tree still looks healthy, so I'm going to give it some more water. Admittedly, this past week I got really busy. What I do for a living is building websites and doing a lot of the back-end stuff. And so there's going to be another company out there soon that's going to be selling online children's educational stuff, which would be really cool. So maybe I'll tell you more about that if anybody's interested. Otherwise, that's pretty much it for the week. So this is the Budget Gardener wrapping up and saying, may your thumb, even if it's indoors, be green.